You talk about affordability too. We referred a little bit at the beginning. The real estate market is on fire across Canada, and it's no exception here. So as housing becomes more and more expensive, how can these folks ever aspire to become something that's a little more sustainable in their housing circumstance if they're never going to be able to afford to stay in the market?
Yeah, I think Bruce, you raise a really important point about something that I've been calling workforce housing, just for lack of a better term. I mean, workforce housing sounds like you got a bunch of ATCO trailers for like a mega project kind of scenario, but it's not. It's really about housing for the people who make our community work. And whether it's someone who works in the coffee shop or in a retail store or in a distribution center, or even, you're talking about teacher assistants, or people work in childcare, or
Mhm.
and then in some cities, police officers, firefighters, frontline workers. And so depending on the depth of the affordability crisis. And so that workforce housing and the gap, and the fact that, you know, uh, over a long time, we've expected that the market would look after that, and it hasn't. If you look at the amount of rental housing that was built in the 70s and 80s in Victoria, for example, and Arise Developments has an amazing slide that they put together about that. And then you look at how much rental housing has been built since then. It's not the fault of the municipality. There was a federal government program called the MERB program that encouraged investors to put their money into rental housing, that built just thousands and thousands of rental units across British Columbia. And that program ended, and people lived in that housing for a long time. And that housing is coming to end of life. And there was so little housing built in the interim period. That's essential workforce housing. And so I'm really excited about this housing hub program that we have,
Mhm.
that provides construction financing to appropriate rental housing projects, and then support for takeover mortgages, and a little bit of inside lingo there. But basically what it does is it dramatically reduces the cost of construction for new rental housing, that allows, in exchange, the developer of that rental housing to offer more affordable rents, and to enter into a covenant to keep those rents affordable for a longer period of time. Essential workforce housing is exactly what a significant part of that program is aimed at. The program has achieved an average affordability level of about $65,000 annual salary, which could be two people working at a lower waged job, or one person working at an average salary level in parts of Metro Vancouver and Victoria. And so it's really it's not the perfect solution for everything, but to build that workforce housing, to build that vital infrastructure for our province, is so important. Because if you don't build it, the effect has been that everyone kind of bumps down a level as things get less affordable. So it's sometimes called gentrification. But the effect is that what used to be low cost rental housing becomes middle cost rental housing, and everyone kind of shifts down a level until you have a large group of people drop out the bottom of the market and end up in the streets, simply because of affordability. And that's what we have to interrupt. And one of the ways we're going to interrupt it is through this housing hub program, and through building workforce housing deliberately, and advocating with the feds to support programs like the MERB program that built so many units.
I mean, that sort of thing aligns with what the chamber stands for, in that workforce is so very important. We've had a workforce shortage for a long time, and that's not going to change. And if housing continues to be unaffordable, solutions have to come forward, like you talk about, to make sure that these people do have a place to live.